Has science gone too far? Are humans playing God? These are all questions asked when dealing with topics such as creating hybrid animals, cloning and genetic engineering. While there are benefits to it all, we are entering a world of the unknown and should proceed with caution. In this list, we'll be showing you 5 of the strangest hybrid animals. We would like to give a big shout out to viewers Safwan Wan, Darren Fennelly and Max Flame for suggesting this video. Number 5. Growler bear. While many hybrid animals are man-made as we directly got 2 species to mate, the growler bear is actually a naturally occurring hybrid. It's a mix of a grizzly bear and a polar bear, which is a very strange mix and kind of sad too. You see, grizzly bears and polar bears don't usually live among each other. However, since the polar bear's natural habitat is being destroyed due to climate change, they are being forced to move further south. This is where they meet the grizzly bear, and as nature has it, they seem to get on well. Maybe too well, as now there's such a thing as growler bears. So while this hybrid is not man-made, it's kind of an indirect result of mankind's actions. Number 4. Jaglion. This hybrid is simply stunning, a perfect blend of 2 beautiful creatures. If you haven't yet guessed, it's a mix of a male jaguar and a female lion. These 2 amazing cats are from the Bear Creek Exotic Wildlife Sanctuary in Barrie, Canada. They are sister and brother, and came to be after a jaguar and lioness who were raised together took their relationship to the next level. The sister cat named Jazara inherited her father's melanism gene, giving her the dark pigmentation classic to some jaguars. While only 6% of all jaguars are fully black, with majority having a golden coat and black spots, Jazara got a blend of both. She is fully black but also has the spots, while her brother wasn't so lucky but still looks awesome. Number 3. Kama. This interesting hybrid is created from a male camel and female llama. You may know that a camel is about 6 times the size of a llama, so mating would be pretty impossible. This is why this hybrid was created using artificial insemination in Dubai. The idea and reason for this hybrid was simple. They wanted to make something with the size and strength of a camel, but with the easier temperament and higher wool production of the llama. The result was the Kama. Interestingly, the Kama is also one of the rare few hybrids that are always fertile, and this results from both the camel and llama having the exact same amount of chromosomes. Number 2. Zebroids. A zebroid is the name for any zebra hybrids, usually from a male zebra and a female pony, horse or donkey. They never occur in nature, and many zebroids can be born with a form of dwarfism and are almost always infertile. They usually take on the build of the female animals, but have the stripes of the zebra. Sometimes the stripes never cover the whole body and just appear on parts like the feet and legs, or even patches over the body. Number 1. Wolfdog. A wolfdog hybrid is actually quite common compared to the other hybrids on this list. Obviously, this hybrid is a mix of a dog and a wolf. The most common mix is to use a dog breed that already has a physical resemblance with a wolf, such as the German Shepherd. Their appearance can be quite unpredictable, but most of the time they make for much stronger and smarter pets than dogs. However, they aren't as easy to domesticate and can be quite wild. With that being said though, even wolves can make excellent pets with the right conditions and owners, and be just as obedient, loyal and loving as dogs.
Ten incredible hybrid fruits. Plumcots, aka pluorts. This, as you may have guessed, is a cross between a plum and an apricot. Like most on this list, this hybrid fruit is the result of a cross-pollination of 2 plants from the same species or genus. It takes years of selective breeding to produce a hybrid fruit. The plumcot, for example, took a biologist over 20 years of research and experimentation. Candy floss flavoured grapes. Yep, grapes have been crossed with candy floss of all things. These very sweet grapes were created in California using absolutely no chemicals, and the seeds for this grape plant come from a test tube. Get ready for the rise of the novelty flavoured grape, because flavours like mango, strawberry, gummy bear and Skittles flavoured grapes will soon be on supermarket shelves. A tayberry is a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry. This hybrid fruit was patented in 1979 and it's named after the River Tay in Scotland. A tayberry looks like a raspberry, but it's more elongated and it tastes like a juicier and sweeter version of the normal raspberry. Blood limes. The name of this one isn't as much as a giveaway as to what the hybrid is compared to the rest. Blood limes are a hybrid citrus fruit developed in a project to investigate salt-resistant crops. These are a cross between a red finger lime and an Ellendale mandarin, which is a hybrid in itself. So the blood lime is actually a hybrid of a hybrid. The tangelo is a tangerine with a pomelo or sometimes with a grapefruit. Tangelos are larger than tangerines, and they don't have the bitterness of a grapefruit. Sometimes referred to as honeybells, they generally have loose skin and they're easier to peel than oranges. The pineberry. This one is a strawberry mixed with a special type of strawberry. When I say special, I mean it's a strawberry called the beach strawberry, which can only be found in Hawaii and off the Pacific coasts of North and South America. This white berry has red seeds and it tastes strangely of pineapple. The limequat. This is a hybrid cross between a lime and a kumquat. It's actually really small compared to a lime and it's only around the size of an olive. This was crossed to create a citrus fruit that didn't have a harsh acidy taste, but instead has a soft sweet tang. A justaberry is a cross between a blackcurrant and two different types of gooseberry. It looks like a gooseberry but it has no thorns. It's sweeter and it combines the vigorous growth and rich flavour of a blackcurrant. Pecatums are a peach, apricot and plum hybrid. This fruit feels like a peach but tastes like a fruit punch. It's trademarked by a company called Zega Genetics, which is an organisation that develops crazy fruits through deliberate hybridation. You can only buy this fruit in a nursery in Stanislaus County, and inventor Floyd Zega and his 3 children have painted in more than 500 new fruits, which they will hopefully soon release. Bubbleberries. This fruit is a cross between a strawberry and bubblegum, and I actually really want to try one of these. They grow in remote forests in Central Europe, and bubbleberries were eaten in the 19th century, but they kind of faded out. The bubbleberry is also known as a musk strawberry, and they are known to have an incredibly strong and sweet smell. And that's the end of 10 incredible hybrid fruits. I jolly well hope you liked it, and as always, thanks for watching.
Only speaks to people who've broken one of society's ultimate taboos, the illegal practice of sexual contact with animals, a subject some people may find disturbing.
Oh my gosh, fire!
Slow down. Don't shake it, you'll spew it everywhere. There was never a day in my life when I was growing up and I said, okay, I think I'm gonna go have sex with animals today. It started out when I was very small. I just had a deep connection with animals, all the pets that we had growing up and all. I just felt deep feelings for them, and as I grew older and these feelings matured, it eventually moved on to sex. There was no decision made.
I see animals as spiritual beings first, and because I see them as my spiritual equals, I don't have any issue with seeing that they have the same needs that I have, which is to eat, to enjoy their bodies, and to love and to be loved.
I've been with animals, I've been with humans. I love to be with both.
Five years ago, I made a film about people who choose to have sex with animals. After it was shown, a number of zoophiles, as they like to be known, wanted to tell their stories.
can't go by a group of horses without taking a real close look at them and wondering a great many thoughts.
Yeah. There's a black one there with a big blaze and a couple white socks that just, she's nice.
Oh, hello.
Hello, bud.
Hello, pretty boy.
Sweetie.
Easy, easy. Cool. Please do come visit.
There's a dog.
Hey, baby. Hello, pretty one.
Hello.
Wow. Now this is a rush. Ah, yes. A piece of ecstasy. This is the most incredible turn on when I'll approach like this. It is the most incredible turn on. Ooh. This is a pretty girl here. She's an Arabian.
This is the first time that they've spoken openly about their secret desires.
If they found a field full of horses, it may be a while.
Oh, I know Ken. He scritches the ponies for hours on end.
They wanted to show me a strange and often shocking sexual subculture. I was surprised to find these passions were not limited to lone individuals.
I wish I was as sexy as Amara is sometimes.
They included women, couples, and even animal relationships within families.
That good?
You can get it kind of juicy. It'll
Kinda
soak it up
juicy?
if we put it back in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the questions are, well, you know, is it the same as with a man? Is it as good as with a man?
No, better.
Well, it depends.
Yeah, it
you know,
depends
because
on the dog, depends on the man.
you know, a lot of human men just aren't as, they don't like foreplay. Dogs love foreplay. They love to have a good time. They love to have sex.
I just thought, should I add some mushrooms to the salad too?
Oh, yeah, you could probably
I'm
do
gonna add
some
to
in the sauce and
That's
some
what I was
in
going
the...
to do.
We've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver, because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part.
Recent videos released by the Center for Medical Progress reveal Planned Parenthood's inhumane treatment of unborn children and its executives negotiating the sale of baby hearts, lungs, and livers.
And another boy, boy.
How did we get to this point? To understand present-day Planned Parenthood, we should understand Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood's founder and hero.
Margaret Sanger was a big proponent of negative eugenics, which was the viewpoint that you should weed out unfit people from the bloodline. So that would be encouraging people not to procreate if they were unfit, feeble-minded, had any kind of mental illness, and that also included forced sterilization.
Words like unfit and feeble-minded were used to describe not only the poor and mentally ill, but also to describe African Americans.
Margaret Sanger stated that birth control is nothing more or less than the facilitation of the process of weeding out the unfit, of preventing the birth of defectives or of those who will become defectives.
In 1921, Margaret Sanger founded the American Birth Control League. Its primary mission was to prevent uncontrolled procreation and establish a world program of birth control.
She states, knowledge of birth control is essentially moral. Its general, though prudent practice must lead to a higher individuality and ultimately to a cleaner race. Margaret Sanger stated that the most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it.
In 1939, Sanger wrote a letter to her eugenics colleague, Dr. Clarence Gamble, a member of the Birth Control Federation of America, in regards to setting up the Negro Project, a birth control clinic for African Americans.
She was speaking about serving what she called the Negro population, and in concluding this portion of the letter, she stated that we do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members.
Sanger believed that having an African American minister on staff would ease the suspicion.
African American populations were considered some of these unfit members that should be weeded out. So in this letter, she discusses having African Americans serve other African Americans so they wouldn't be aware that they were seeking to terminate them, to exterminate them by the use of birth control and negative eugenics.
Sanger was quite fond of Dr. Ernst Ruden's work, director for the Society for Racial Hygiene. He would later go on to write Nazi Germany's sterilization laws. In 1933, she published his article, Eugenic Sterilization, an Urgent Need, which promoted programs to eliminate the unfit in order to create a super race. In the late 1930s and 40s, knowledge of Nazi atrocities made words like eugenics and population control unpopular in America. So in 1942, to distance itself in name, Margaret Sanger's American Birth Control League became Planned Parenthood. They weren't just being established in the U.S., it was global. A grim fact in American history was the forced sterilization of women in Puerto Rico. In 1936, sterilization programs spearheaded by the International Planned Parenthood Federation, with funding from the U.S. government, sterilized 1/3 of Puerto Rican women by 1968, making it the highest proportion of childbearing-aged persons sterilized in the world. And today,
Planned Parenthood facilities are generally located in low-income areas which are heavily populated with minorities, and a lot of times they seek to reach those minorities to help them with reproductive rights, they say, with birth control and largely abortion.
Independent studies have concluded that nearly 80% of Planned Parenthood facilities are set up in minority communities. It's no wonder abortion is the leading cause of death among African Americans, higher than all other causes combined. Mounting evidence against Planned Parenthood's beginning to today continues to fuel public outcry.
The American people should seek to immediately defund Planned Parenthood so that our own tax dollars don't go to support this organization who has been exposed to be lying to the American people for many years, for committing these egregious acts against the youngest children among us. They should be immediately defunded.
Did I not work all week? 5 days a week, right? So where the fuck is my money going? Time going on when? You didn't work last Thursday. When do time go in? Time going on Wednesday. And I did work last Thursday. I worked all week last week. Why the fuck you don't write our hours down? You see how you playing with my money talking about you didn't work last Thursday? Kobe, did I not work all week last week? I work every fucking day. Every single fucking day. Now why the fuck is you playing with me, bro? You think, bro, like, come outside, bro, because that's how I'm feeling right now. Because you think this shit a game, bro. If you want to knuckle, we can go in the fucking rain. Bro, my check is 27, bro, and I worked all week last week. Explain to me why my money is fucking short. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can.
How?
What time did you get the fucking
Stop
work?
fucking asking
I'm
me
not
what time.
fuck. I'm
Bro,
serious.
So what's up, bro? You want a buck?
What
you want a
time
buck?
to work?
Do you want a buck? Because we can fucking buck. What's poppin'? We can buck, nigga. You playing with my fucking money.
Get out of my face.
Ain't no fucking get out of your face. Stop playing with my bread, bro.
Get out of my face.
And what?
Get out of my
And
face.
what?
Get out of my face.
And what?
Get out of my face.
What you gonna do about my bread? Huh? Explain my money. What you gonna do about my money?
What time did you get to work on Monday?
What
Every
the
day.
fuck?
What time did you start work?
Bruh. Because I really...
I'm being dead serious. What time did you start work?
How do you calculate how much money I make then since you want to worry about what time I start work?
It's time you fucking start work.
Bro, back up out my face because you spitting in my face, bro. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
The time you get to work, the time you're done, and the amount of work you get done.
How do you know what time I get off and come to work? How?
I know what time he gets
How?
here. Because I'm still here when he
You
gets
know what
here.
time he get here. How do you know what time I start working?
Because I know it takes him...
Answer my fucking question. How do you know what time I start working? Are you there?
No, I'm not.
So how the fuck do you know? How do you know what time I get off work?
I know he's
How do you know what time I get off work? How do you know what time I get off work? I want to hear this shit. How?
I know
So how
he's
the
here
fuck you
after-
gonna calculate my money then? How you gonna calculate my money and you don't know what fucking time I get off work?
Easy.
How?
I'm here after he gets back. Turn your fucking phone off.
Man, you better handle what's in front of you. Your business. Don't worry about this. Cause you playing with my bread, bro. You really playing with my money, bro. You really gonna make me see about you, bro. If my motherfucking check ain't reimbursed, next week we have a problem. I know you can't fix it now, so I ain't gonna get on your fucking ass. But you playing with my bread, bro. You think it's the game. You think I won't go on your shit. You really think I won't go on your shit? I don't give a fuck about this job. Because literally you've been playing with me for the last fucking 3 weeks. Now, if you feel like you boss up and you want to jump out your seat, there's plenty of fucking space outside. Plenty. Stop playing with my fucking bread, bro.
What consequences could I face if I don't pay alimony? If the court orders you to pay alimony and you refuse to pay, some or all of these enforcement efforts could be taken against you. Contempt of court. If you refuse to pay court-ordered alimony, and you have the ability to do so, the judge may find you in contempt of court. The punishment could be a fine, or a short term in jail, or both. Alternatively, the judge may order you to stay in jail until you actually pay. Wage withholding. The court may order your employer to deduct your alimony from your wages before they are paid to you. Seizure of property. Your delinquent alimony may be taken from your bank accounts or from money owed to you like rents, dividends, and royalties. Other types of property that you own may be seized and sold to pay delinquent alimony. Liens on property. Liens may be placed on your property. Before you can sell the property, you will need to pay the alimony to clear the lien, or the sale proceeds will be applied towards your alimony. Tax refund intercept. If you also have past due child support, your federal tax refund can be intercepted and applied to your delinquent support and alimony. When you can't pay. If you fall behind on your alimony because your income has declined or your expenses have increased, don't wait until enforcement action is begun against you. Take steps to have your alimony payments suspended, reduced, or terminated. You can try to get your former spouse to agree to a temporary or permanent reduction or termination of your alimony. If you and your former spouse reach an agreement, be sure to put the agreement in writing and have it signed by the judge. If you and your former spouse cannot agree, you can ask the court to modify or terminate your alimony obligations. You may be able to get a temporary reduction or abatement if you have been laid off. If you have to take a salary cut, you may be able to get your alimony permanently reduced or eliminated.
Check out these pictures from my European vacation. We did Venice, Paris, and Rome. It was incredible.
Wow, I don't get it. We have the same position at work and I could never afford to do anything like this. Didn't you go to Australia last year?
Oh yeah, that was fantastic as well.
A new car in the driveway too. What'd you do, rob a bank?
No, I won a lottery.
Oh, you're kidding, right?
Remember, I got divorced last year.
I see. You got a very good settlement.
I got a great settlement. But even better, I got an alimony award.
Alimony? But your kids are grown. How did you manage to get alimony?
Alimony has nothing to do with child support. It's money to keep me in the lifestyle that I was accustomed to when I was married to Eric.
I didn't know you could still get alimony if you didn't need it.
With the lawyer and the way laws are written, you'd be surprised at what you can get. Did you ever wonder why I didn't get that promotion last year?
Well, yeah, it was a done deal. That didn't make sense at all.
I withdrew my name from consideration on advice from my lawyer. He said that if my income were any higher than it is now, I might not get as much alimony. So I thought about it and decided I don't want to work that hard. I mean, why should I? Besides, I deserve alimony. Do you know how much he has to pay me every month?
I didn't know Eric could even afford to pay you that much every month.
I hear he is struggling. The business went under and he has health issues now. That's his problem.
You know, Bob and I have been married for many, many years, and the spark died a long time ago. This would be a great way for me to start over again. I could do all the things I wanted to do without Bob's agreement. I was always worried about our retirement, paying the bills, putting the kids through college. We never have fun anymore. What's the name of your lawyer?
Alimony is wrong. Today, there are more than 500,000 people across the country held in bondage to support another capable adult indefinitely after their marriage has ended. This scene plays out every day throughout our country, and it destroys lives. Involuntary servitude was outlawed by the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution in 1865, and yet state courts across the country routinely impose this endless fabricated obligation to provide private welfare upon thousands of victims every day. An alimony order is harmful to both parties in different ways by its very nature. It keeps wounds open. People who seek divorce want to end their relationship to the other party and move on with their lives. An alimony order does not permit this to happen. When one is ordered to pay alimony to another, they lose rights that the state has no constitutional authority to take away from them. An alimony payer cannot pursue employment of their own choosing if it means they will earn less money. They cannot voluntarily retire. They cannot go bankrupt. They have been stripped of their right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness.
A lot of breaking news here this morning. The breaking story just moments ago, the Supreme Court and this landmark ruling, the court making same-sex marriage legal in this country across every state in this nation. Going into today, 37 states in Washington, D.C., 13 states illegal, but those 37 states had same-sex marriage, and now that will change in all 50 states. I want to get back to John Karl at the White House because, John, 2 days in a row, yesterday, the Supreme Court, for the second time, handing the president a victory. And as we just learned, the president has tweeted he would consider this a victory at the court as well for his policy.
Absolutely. Two major victories for the president at the Supreme Court, and both of them coming courtesy of justices appointed by Republican presidents. In this case, Justice Anthony Kennedy was the majority on this, was that critical fifth vote joining the liberals. Justice Anthony Kennedy appointed to the court by Ronald Reagan. And yesterday, the majority decision in that Obamacare case was Justice John Roberts, appointed Chief Justice, and to the court by President George W. Bush. These were two decisions that the world has been watching, but have been watched no more closely than here at the White House, and both coming down exactly as the White House wanted them to.
John, stick with us here. I want to get right over to Terry Moran, who covers the Supreme Court for us. And Terry, I wanted to get your reaction to a piece of audio during the arguments in this case from Chief Justice John Roberts. Let's let everyone at home listen to a little bit of that argument. I can tell you what he said in the court as we prepare to get that audio, but Justice Roberts telling the court, I mean, if Sue loves Joe and Tom loves Joe, Sue can marry him and Tom can't. And the Chief Justice asking, why isn't that a straightforward question of sexual discrimination? And ultimately for him, that was the question, Terry.
That question where he essentially said, if two people love the same person, the opposite sex person can marry that person, but the same sex person can't. And there was a glimmer of hope among the advocates for same-sex marriage under the law that Chief Justice Roberts might find his own path through gender discrimination, that it's merely a matter of gender that distinguishes one side from the other there, that he might come over and vote for constitutionality of same-sex marriage. He did not, but very characteristically, he offered not an angry dissent necessarily, but a more gentle one. This is his last paragraph in his dissent. He says, if you're among the many Americans of whatever sexual orientation who favor expanding same-sex marriage, by all means, celebrate today's decision, he says. Celebrate the achievement of a desired goal. Celebrate the opportunity for the expansion of your commitment, but do not celebrate the Constitution, he says. It had nothing to do with it.
All right, Terry Moran at the court, 2 days in a row, two very historic decisions. We appreciate your reporting.
4 times I have told you not to call me sir.
For many transgender Canadians, interactions like this one are just the tip of the iceberg. Despite existing human rights protections in many provinces, some say they still face discrimination and even violence. Today, Justin Trudeau says he's hoping to change that.
I'm proud to announce that tomorrow, on the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, we will be tabling a bill in the House of Commons to ensure the full protection of transgender people.
Trudeau didn't give any details about the bill, but it's expected to amend the criminal code to spell out that it is a hate crime to attack someone for their gender identity. It will also include transgender people in Canada's Human Rights Act, evening out disparities from province to province.
It saves our community from having to fight time and time again through courts and to get legal degrees to try and fight our way through to rights that we already have had.
The bill is expected to protect both gender identity and gender expression. That nuance is important, some say, because people often face discrimination based solely on how they look. For instance, when they try to board a plane.
A trans person that wouldn't look female or male enough according to the paper that they have would then be refused boarding in Canada.
But discrimination, she says, goes beyond that, from housing to employment to simply finding a bathroom. That's been the big debate in U.S. states like North Carolina. But even here in Canada, some politicians have argued that allowing trans people to use the bathroom of their choice would give cover to sexual predators. Not true, says NDP MP Randall Garrison.
The washroom stuff is a completely false issue that's used to generate fear on this issue.
3 times Garrison has proposed similar trans rights bills. Twice they passed the House but died in the Conservative-dominated Senate. Conservative MPs were divided on the issue last time around, but at least one says he's had a change of heart.
But I think things are changing. I think people are changing. Certainly I am, and I recognize my constituents, and so I'll be voting in for it.
We don't know what the official line from the Conservative caucus will be. A spokesperson for leader Ronna Ambrose says they have to wait until they actually see the bill tomorrow.